name is Rachel, and today I'm telling you about a few exciting new releases coming out today, Tuesday, October 30th, 2018. And I feel like this is the time of year where the new releases really start kind of slowing down. There's usually a lot less that I'm anticipating at this point of the year since we only have 2 months left. But today is proving that prediction wrong. We have quite a few to get through today. So first up is To Kill a Mockingbird, the graphic novel adaptation. The adaptation illustrator is Fred Fordham, and obviously the author credit still goes to Harper Lee. And I don't feel like I really need to tell you too much about this one. This was just recently, To Kill a Mockingbird, the original version, voted as like America's favorite read with the PBS special, The Great American Read. So that goes to show how awesome this book is. And if you haven't read the original, I highly suggest to go do that first. But I am so excited for the graphic novel version of this. I just think it's going to be spectacular, and I'm just so excited to get my hands on this and read this one. And it comes out today! Next up is a YA contemporary, and that is You Are the Everything by Karen Rivers. I read an early release of a Karen Rivers book either last year or the year before, and it was hugely impactful for me. So whenever I see her name now, it definitely is on my radar. This one is about a girl who has a crush on a boy, and they end up being the sole survivors of a plane crash. So I think that is going to be a very interesting twist. I am excited to dive into this, and again, whenever I see Karen Rivers' name now, I'm definitely intrigued. So I'm excited to check this one out. Next up is a young adult fantasy, a short novel in verse that I'm excited for. It's really the cover that drew me into this one. It's called Finding Baba Yaga, again a short novel in verse by Jane Yolen. And the little tagline for this one that I like, it says, "Young woman discovers the power to speak up and take control of her life, a theme that has never been more timely than it is now." And again, I think what really drew me to this was the cover. I think it's amazing. And I've been really trying to get more into stories told in verse. I think that I have a hard time getting into poetry, but sometimes when it's done correctly, the idea of a story told in verse just makes it even more impactful than if it was told in prose. So I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Next up is one that is a historical nonfiction that just sounds like a lot of fun, and I feel like the title pretty much tells you everything you need to know. It's called How to Behave Badly in Elizabethan England, a guide for knaves, fools, harlots, cuckolds, drunkards, liars, thieves, and braggarts by Ruth Goodman. And I just think this sounds like so much fun. What drew me in initially was the behaving badly, referring to the quote about women behaving badly, making history. So that kind of drew me in, and although I don't think it's kind of coming at it from more of a feminist angle that originally my brain kind of linked to, it still just sounds like a lot of fun. So this might be something that I check in and out of and just kind of, feel around old Elizabethan England. Next up is I Might Regret This, Essays, Drawings, Vulnerabilities, and Other Stuff by Abby Jacobson. And really what drew me in to this one is, again, the fact of the author. I am a huge fan of Broad City, so the fact that Abby Jacobson has a collection now, I just feel like I really need to get into and see what kind of fun shenanigans are included in this book. So I will definitely be checking this one out. Next up is another nonfiction book that I am super excited for. I just think this is going to be totally in my little niche of books, and that is called Paperback Crush, The Totally Radical History of 80s and 90s Teen Fiction by Gabrielle Moss. And the cover just epitomizes 80s and 90s teen lit, and I'm just so excited for this. I want to read all about it and revisit some of my favorite things and maybe learn a few things. And as a librarian, this, like I said, is just right in my wheelhouse, so I'm super excited for this one. Next up is The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory. I may have mispronounced her name, but she wrote The Wedding Date, which was a huge book last year, still on my TBR sadly, but I am going to be reading that. And again, I think she's just taken something that seems very typical in pop culture and like romance lit and turned it on its head. So this one is about a proposal, as you might have guessed by the title, but it's about a public proposal that doesn't quite go as as expected and maybe doesn't have the happy ending that most people expect in those big, extravagant public proposals. So immediately that catches my eye. This has got to be kind of a fun, interesting read, so it's definitely on my radar. Next up is a nonfiction essay collection called Well Read Black Girl, Finding Our Stories and Discovering Ourselves. And this obviously has several contributing authors, and I believe this all stems from essays about Black readers by Black writers. And I think it's all obviously implied by the cover, female authors. And I think it's going to be really interesting to read the different perspectives of this. I think it all stemmed from a book club where Black women were reading other Black women. So finding themselves in the books that they read. So I think this is going to be a very, very interesting look at literature through the eyes of the well-read Black Girl Book Club. Next up is a board book that I really don't know too much about, but the cover is just absolutely adorable. And it's called You Are My Sweetheart. And it's got those adorable little, I can't remember the name for this type of drawing, but I just love them. They're just so cute. And the little pink cheeks, I just love it. But this is by Joyce Wan. And this just seems like the perfect book to be coming out about this time because you're prepping for all the future holidays. So this could be something I could get into the library in time for a Valentine's Day. And I'm super, super excited. I hope that maybe it ties in a little bit to like the sweetheart candies that have all those cute little statements on them, but I'm not sure. But again, I basically just want to read this one from the cover. Next up is also another children's book geared toward Valentine's Day, and that is called A Valentine for Frankenstein by Leslie Kimmelman and Timothy Banks. And this just looks adorable. Again, I like when they come out plenty early for you to get them into your library and get them ready. And I just think this is so cute. And what a great crossover of mixing Halloween and Valentine's Day. I mean, we really could read this anytime between now and Valentine's Day, and it would seem like holiday appropriate. So I'm excited for this one too. Next up is Micro Living, 40 Innovative Tiny Houses Equipped for Full-Time Living in 400 Square Feet or Less by Derek Diedrichsen. And this is just about basically tiny houses, which I'm kind of obsessed with. Part of me wants to like live in a tiny house, but I think I think I could get rid of pretty much everything I own except for my books. I would not be able to get rid of enough books to live in a tiny house. I would need a tiny house for me to live in and then another tiny house attached that would just be books, which I feel like defeats the point of like going tiny and not needing a lot of space and saving a lot of money on what you're spending for square footage. But I'm still obsessed with them. I love to read about them and see different pictures. And yeah, so this is definitely on my radar. Next up is a memoir from Justin Timberlake. It's called Hindsight and All the Things I Can't See in Front of Me. I believe this is Justin Timberlake's first book, and everybody my age grew up with Justin Timberlake, so I feel like this is just the perfect thing for us. Everybody I know my age is probably going to at least read it, probably buy it. So I just thought that was a very interesting twist for a book. Like I said, I haven't seen a musician biography for somebody targeted like more at my age range in a long time. So I'm not really sure what he would cover. I'm assuming all the things so far in his life because it says hindsight. But yes, memoir by Justin Timberlake for people of my generation. And lastly is a book that we actually got to see in our book fair a couple of weeks ago that is officially coming out now. I'm excited to see how the kids react to it. It's called Where She Fell by Caitlin Ward. And this is about like the sinkhole that opens up and swallows this girl into another underground kind of world. Very adventure, survivally. I'm assuming somewhat fantastical because I think there's actually like people living underground. So yeah, I'm interested. I can't remember the book that she wrote last year for the book fair. Girl in a Bad Place. That was it. And the kids really, really liked that one. So I'm wondering if just her author credit will ride her through with this one. But I'm interested to see what the kids think about this. It's got the same kind of feel for the cover. So I think the kids will be drawn to this one. So there you have it. Very quickly, all the books that I'm excited for releasing today, the 30th of October, 2018. So thank you so much for watching. If you have a new release that you would like to promote and share, go ahead and link that down below. We'd love to see it. And again, thank you so much for watching. I will see you again in another video soon. Bye for now.